Hello and welcome to another video. In this video I'm going to make a small kind of cupboard. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do, whether I'm going to do an overhead one or one that's down below or both. But we'll have a look at the area that I'm talking about and we'll see what I can do here, and I'll take you through the process of how I'm going to make this little cupboard. Yeah, so let's get straight into it and let's take a look at the space. This is where I want something. I'm not exactly sure what it is yet I'm wanting. I've got a couple of ideas. One of them was to actually put the blind up and just kind of fill up that entire window with some kind of shelving thing, but it wouldn't be very kind of thick because I want to keep this space here free for putting like drinks on, and it might be just enough, but it would end up being quite narrow, so I'm not sure about that. Another one was to be more sort of over this side, and again I was going to inset it into the window and just this blind wouldn't be used anymore, and I'd have to build like a little tiny blind just to go in there. But I think I'm going to just explore this top one before. Now I used to have one in there, and I've got the old one here, and it's flipping massive. Look at that great big thing. So I kind of got it in just to give you a bit of an idea of what it used to be like. So it used to be like a great big thing up there, and that's a bit big, but it's massive, and it was extremely useful, I have to say. This is kind of why I want to maybe put something back there. You can use these handles as kind of like a fixing point, but there's not much on that side, so I could maybe use this kind of like trim that's coming around here because it is made of wood, so I could use that maybe. So you've got to use kind of whatever you can really to keep these up, but they're quite heavy, so I'm quite concerned that I'll need to make this good and sort of strong. There is this metal bar that runs all the way around, which is where the roof boards go onto, so I could bring a little bracket down and use that. So there's a few options, but I think what I'm going to do first is make a little cardboard box, offer it up there and just have a look at the size and see if that's any good. So let's get some cardboard and let's make a little box to there. Okay, got some cardboard. So the first thing we're going to do is measure out the base plate of this little cardboard template, and I've gone for, I think it was 75 by 14 centimeters. So we only need to roughly cut this out of the cardboard. Doesn't need to be like an absolute replica, because this is just to give me an idea of the size. So here we go. I'm not going to slice my knees off, don't worry. So ta-da, there's the first part of our template. So I could take that in the van now and start to get an idea of the size. Oh, this is just quality, look at that. Really brings this to life, doesn't it? Yeah, perfect. That's what I'm looking for. So I've gone ahead and added some brace pieces and an end piece, just to give it a bit more structure so it's not all floppy-doppy-doo. And there it is, that's the kind of thing I'm looking for. I think that looks great. Again, just wanted a nice small little shelf type thing, and I think that fits the bill. That's all. I don't want to put tons of stuff up there. Okay, so that seems pretty cool. My little cardboard template, that little template there is probably all I need just to get me going. And I think I'll make a little sort of MDF version so it's a bit stiffer. I might put a door on the front. I might not have this little lip. I might actually put a full door all the way across the front, and it kind of will hinge down from the bottom. Yeah, I think I'm going to make it out of MDF first, and then we'll make it out of the good stuff once I've completely sort of decided it's a good idea. Right then, let's make that first. So over to the table saw, and I cut it to the correct width first, and then I cross-cut it to the correct length, and then I just check it just to make sure that this piece of wood is rocking. So the next task is to remove that handle that was up there, because this is going to be used as my mounting holes. I've actually jumped ahead a bit there, and I've actually made the end piece as well out of MDF and kind of screwed it together to give me a really good idea. So this is kind of giving us more of a look of what it's actually going to look like. I've actually got to make a special little piece of wood to go in where that handle was into the recess, just to make it level. Another thing I've made is a bracket as well to actually hold the shelf onto those holes that were left there from the handle. I've had to replace the bolts that come with the handle because they aren't quite long enough, but the ones from like IKEA are just ideal. They're the same size. Brackets that I've been using are these angle brackets. So you can find these from B&Q. They're quite common. And I flattened off one side, as you can see, like that, and then I've angled the bottom one because this is at a bit of a strange angle. Okay, so now we've kind of got to the stage where I think I'm ready to start cutting it out of the proper wood. I'm going to commit to it. Yeah, I think I'm ready. I've made the second bracket now, so I just need to cut it all out so I can just then mark all the holes properly and get everything kind of fitting nice, and I've got to make the end kind of part for it. So I say we just start cutting it all out of the real wood and go from there. So this is the last piece of wood from my conversion that I've got left, so I'm being really careful, only to cut what I need. So after jigsawing out that end piece, I drill out the holes for the screws, and here we go. So I've not put in the middle screw yet because I don't need to just yet. I'll do it at the end, and I can see how that's fitting now. And ooh, looked like it wasn't going to fit then, but yes, here it is. That's looking pretty good. But there is a slight issue because I'm using the thicker material now. What's happening is it's kind of set off from the side a bit because, as you can see there, it needs an angle just so it can match up the angle of the trim. So I'm going to go through the table saw and trim that off with an angle, and hopefully that'll be fine. There you go, that's all done. So that's matched at that angle there, and that should fit much better now. So the next thing I need to do is to attach the brackets that I've made. I'm going to put the brackets onto the mounting points first so I can then offer the shelf up and mark out where the holes need to be to attach the screws. So you've got to do it in this order just so it makes it more accurate. And I use a little bradawl to punch through the laminate, and then I don't use a drill, I just literally screw straight through, and I find this is the best method for putting screws into this kind of laminate. Okay, we've now got the shelf on. It's actually surprisingly very tough as it is. We just, once we've got that last brace in at the other end, that'll be fine. It's probably not have to be too secured at that end. I might get something, drill it in from the other side somehow. I don't know, I'm going to do that. Now I've got another paper template for what's going to be the front of it. So it's going to have a little door, well, not a little door, it's quite a big door actually. So that'll seal it all in. Originally I was going to have just a little lip like this, which is also pretty cool. I'm still thinking that's a good idea, but when it gets this edge here, obviously it just starts to get a little bit too small, and if it's like this, it's going to be completely open. You can grab what you want and then shut the door on it. So for my door, I found this old pine shelf because I just don't have enough of that stripy material to make a door as well, because I have another project that I'm going to do in this area. So this is what I'm going to do is make it out of pine, and then I can sand it, as you can see there, and then I can stain it black just like the worktop, and then it'll all match, and I think that'll look really cool. So I think the first thing to do now is, because I've done one bit of sanding, I'll sand the other side as well while it's like this. So using my paper template that I made earlier, I will mark out the door shape that I need and just simply jigsaw it out. So there is our cupboard door all done. And I'm just going to offer it up to the cupboard, and it's looking pretty good. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. I think that looks great. So the next thing I'm going to do is actually soften it up a little bit because it's too squarey edged, and I'm using a round over bit in my router, and that's going to look a lot softer. Hard to tell there, but we'll look at that again later. Okay, so I've got my wood die, which is the same I used for my the table. The worktop in the van. I'm not going to put the brush in there, that don't work. So this is the lovely bit of wood now. I think it's about ready for the wood stain, we'll find out. So let's just pause there because we all know it's not ready for the wood stain, don't we? Because can we see those bits of white paint? Yes, that's not going to work, is it? So let's just enjoy watching past me waste my time. Not sure it's gone that well, I will be honest with you. Maybe I need to sand it down a little bit more. As you can see, there's some quite big white streaks there where the white paint was. Okay, so I've re-sanded this back down again to get rid of all the extra bits of white paint, and I'm going to restain it again. So let's do that. Okay, so I finished staining it. I'm not holding a great big lump of charcoal. Looks like an old relic here, but yes, it's actually come out really well. That's actually, I've done 3 coats on this, put some beeswax on it. This is what I did for the tabletop, and it kind of gives it a nice little kind of satin finish, and it kind of makes it a bit more hardy because it's quite like a chalkboard at the moment, so it picks up every bit of dust. So let's put some beeswax on it and see what that looks like. I'm just going to wipe it off with a clean cloth. So I've got the hinges on. As always with hinges, I'm rubbish at putting hinges on, which I've not showed you how I did it, but so far it's looking good. So now I'm going to put on a little catch. So this is just going to be a little magnetic catch up here. So I'll get on and do that, and then we'll come back when I've done that. Right, I have got the thing installed. I've only just temporarily put this light up here. It's just put on with a bit of sticky tape because, like I say, I think I'm going to build another unit possibly here, just to add more storage here. I'm not sure exactly what it's going to look like, but I think I might tackle that quite soon. So yeah, so I'm not totally like happy with the door, but I think it's okay. I think I need to live with it a little bit, but it's pretty cool. I need to put like a little kind of indentation here just so I can pull it open a bit easier. It seems to be snapping together pretty well. So I thought I'd put some things in to see how much stuff I can fit in. Turns out it fits these mugs absolutely perfectly, which is pretty cool. So I can have a couple of mugs up there. I could put a little mini stove up there. That fits in, just fits in. Okay, bag of noodles, obviously. Little knife. Put a toilet roll up there. Maybe some coffee in a little pot. What else have I got? Cloth. That might be quite handy to have up there, actually, nice and quick. But I was kind of thinking of putting that in the bottom thing. But there's a... Oh, there we go. There's a bunch of stuff in there already. See, having a cup up there would be quite handy. I think that... Yeah. So it's not huge, but you know, every little bit counts. And you know, I do like the size. That's as big as I want this to go. I kind of half thought maybe I could have gone a bit more this way, because you can catch your head on these. They're really easy. I mean, I've seen the ones that come right out, like my old one. I mean, some of them come right out here. I mean, it's just a danger, really. I am worried about the person who sits here if they're travelling. You know, if they go forwards, that's my only concern is the safety aspect of having overhead cupboards. And it might be the reason why I might take this out. So I'll have to see what I think about that, because I'm not sure whether I like it because of that. Because like I say, I used to have the other one up there and it used to extend easy, probably up to here really. And they're just a danger. I think they're a bit of a danger actually. Unless you've got a side conversion, it kind of stops you being over that side and you can't even sit there. But for me, someone can sit quite far over here and then they could potentially be hitting their head on this cupboard. And, you know, I don't like that, you know, safety first. So it's very neat. I hope I haven't wasted all my time making this. It took a lot longer than expected. Because it's a little bit more finicky than I expected, but it's quite a nice little cupboard. I mean, it fits in nicely with the conversion. So I'm not going to get rid of it just yet. I'm going to live with it for a little bit. I'm going to leave those things in there, and it's quite nice. It's quite cool having a little access to a few little bits and bobs. Like I say, any little bit of space you can get out of these little vans, then that's a good thing. So from that point of view, I'm pretty happy with that. But yeah. So there we go, my little cupboard. So I say next thing, probably going to build a little thing up here just to see how that goes. And that'll be a bit more useful. You can't bang your head on something there. So if I put that up there and I prefer that, I could sort of reduce this size or just take that out completely and just have this bright cupboard here. And we'll see. I think that's it though. I think that's pretty cool. So thanks for watching this video and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.